Now is live streamed.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Be Fearless. I'm so glad you've joined us again for another podcast episode from G.S.T, Global Live Speakers. We're here to bring everybody to the platform to be able to share their voice, share what they want to say, and become confident at speaking out and telling their truth. Today, I have Maria with me. Hi, Maria. How are you?
Hi, Lisa Maria. I feel very, very well with you. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad you're here today. I can't wait to dip into this conversation about being fearless and hear about some of your stories and your take on becoming more fearless and your strategies. So I just want to give you a quick intro to Maria. She has been in banking and in the capital markets at the beginning of her career for 13 years, but then she decided to leave it all behind and go into social entrepreneurship and coaching. She then managed to acquire all the knowledge she knew in business to build a platform, a community, and an organization where everybody finds support and care. And it's called Bean, which is do good. So she's a coach, and she believes that she is here to help people see the beauty and their potential, to support them thriving in their personal and professional lives. So she can tell us a little bit more about how she helps businesses and helps in the community. Over to you, Maria. We'd love to hear.
Thank you very much, Lisa Marie, for your introduction. Actually, what I understood during the years was that inside each of us is a treasure. And if we discover that treasure, if we allow it just to be, share with the other ones, we can grow so much as human beings, but we also can help our businesses grow. It doesn't matter if it's your own business or if you're an employee. Just be yourself. Just give your gifts to the other ones, and everybody will thrive. And this is something I really believe. And what I would really like to happen, and what I feel that my mission is now, at least, is to see this beauty in people and encourage them somehow to take a look in the mirror at themselves and see this beauty and see these gifts and just have the confidence to apply them.
That's beautiful. That's a wonderful mission. And thank you for sharing that with us. And people will have a chance to contact you if they'd like to. We'll make sure your contact details are in the comments after we've had our little chat. I'd like to dive in with asking you a question that I ask everybody that comes on the podcast. And that is for you to share with us a time or some situation in your life when you felt fear that may or may not have stopped you from doing something that you knew you should do or had to do.
Well, when I first heard your question, my first thought was that actually I felt fear, but it wasn't fear. For me, it was lack of confidence. I felt fear each time I didn't trust myself. So it was like, I'm afraid of doing this. But when I put the question, why is that we are afraid of that thing, is that I am afraid of the reaction of a person because I'm not confident that I'm good enough for that person. My proposal is not good enough. So I'm afraid of doing this step and getting to that person. Or and that was the first answer. And the second one was that, I am afraid of going into darkness. And it was one moment in my life when I really had to go outside the building I was, and everything is dark. The room I was in dark. And I imagined, effectively, because it was night, I imagined that outside is also very, very night, was dark. And I was thinking, no, I will not going to go there. And actually, because I was really forced to do that, I had to think about what is the first step I have to do to get there and return. And actually, do you know what was the first step I had to do that then?
I'd love to know.
To bring light into the room, into my room.
Yeah.
And then to do the next step with the second room. And then when I went outside, I saw that actually outside it was night, but it wasn't dark.
Very
And I really took that lesson with me, because it's very important. You know, sometimes everything, you know, in front of us can be so dark, so impossible, so to bring you so many reasons to be afraid and not do that thing. But actually, when you return to yourself and ask yourself, what is just the first step I can do to get me closer to what I want and to obtain what I want, you realize that actually you can do that first step. And the miracle comes that after you do this first step, reality is much more beautiful than you imagined before. So reality can really wait for you to do just this very small step, not to fight the darkness, but just to light the candle.
Oh, I love the way you explain that. It's so true, isn't it? You've got to take that first step and take it step by step, and it makes anything so much easier, doesn't it? And certainly the analogy as well of going in the dark, you know, it's anything that we are fearful of, anything, it's the unknown, really, isn't it? That's what I think darkness presents, is that fear. I love the way you mentioned in the beginning that you lacked confidence, because confidence is a big part of how we can overcome that fear. It's to have the confidence to take that first step. And that's beautiful. I love your answer. Thank you so much for that. So what actions did you take after you did that first step? Did you just keep taking one next little step and one next little step? Did you find that the more you faced your fears, the more you were able to do them?
Well, I'll give you another example.
Okay.
From my life, it was during the pandemic in 2020 in March, when everything and the crisis started here in Romania. And I received a lot of requests from various NGOs to be helped. They needed a lot of help. And it was one moment when I thought, okay, you have to decide. You can think that you are too small for this, or it doesn't matter how small or big you are. You just try to do this thing you can do. What is the first thing you can do? You can start building this community. You can start talking to people. You can try to find support. You don't know if you find it, but you can try to do that. And actually, it was a daily exercise each and every morning. It was like choosing to do what I had to do. I was really afraid, really afraid. I mean, it was like I had panic attacks. Okay, what am I going to do today? But it was, again, I have to decide what I have to do today. What I do today is I am afraid and I do nothing. I remain like this. I'm completely blocked, and I say stop to everything I do, or I am with myself and continue on my path. How will that be? I don't know, but I will be there. And it was a decision I had to take daily for at least 7 days in a row before it came natural. I knew after these 7 days that I have to do something, and I didn't ask myself, is it right? Is it wrong? Can I do it or not? No, it was like, I have to do that, and that's it. But before this 8th day, it was like daily. Do you do it or you don't do it? And it was a very powerful process for me. And I also take it for my life. It's like, okay, do you want to do something or you don't want to do something? And this process of questioning myself is very powerful, and it's very clear, and doesn't allow me to stay too much in the darkness, doesn't allow me to stay in the fear area. Is like I always have this control with myself. Do you want to do it, or do you want to renounce it? And most of the time, definitely I want to do it, because I love life. I enjoy just doing stuff and doing my best. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, what I heard you say as well is that you still do this now. You sort of say that every day, you talk to yourself like this, and you make these decisions. I think we all have decisions that probably might we might have a bit of fear over every day. And so, you know, it's good to talk to ourselves. That's one strategy that I think is really important. And again, that's going to help to build confidence. What I love about what you said too was the fact that you're saying that, you know, you're going to be stuck. If you don't do anything, this is it. Or there's the option to move forward. And that, you know, 9 times out of 10, when we talk to ourselves like that, we're going to take the move forward because it's what we want, no matter how difficult or uncomfortable it may feel. We know that, like you said, with the first question, that once you do it, it's never as bad, and you come out on the other side with something brilliant, and you can look forward to that.
I would also like to add something because it will bring clarity about my behavior, why I do what I do now, and why do I take myself by hand and say, Maria, this is our lives, just enjoy it and live it, and not allow fear to block you from fulfilling your life and your dreams. Is that I have a son. His name is Fyodor, and it was born 7 years ago. It's September 18th, his birthday. But when I gave birth to my son, I also understood that nobody promised me tomorrow. So we used to take life for granted. And if we are young, we say, I still have time until 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. It doesn't matter. We just believe that our life will last forever. It's not like this.
Mm.
And in the moment when I understood that actually today is the only thing I have, and not even today, I am now with you and I will have to take my son from school and something can happen in this period. But now I know that until now, until this moment, I gave everything I could to have a life, to bring life into my life, and not allow anybody or anything stop me from feeling alive.
Mm.
So why I have these conversations and why I do not allow fear stay with me for long is that I understood that I don't have this for long.
Yes.
I only have now. So now what do I do to make me happy, to feel that I am alive? If I will live tomorrow, or if I will not live tomorrow, will I be okay if I renounce at doing something or not? And if I will not be okay, then it's the time for me, the right time now to do that thing.
That's powerful. And I'm sure that's really going to resonate with a lot of people, because it's interesting, isn't it, how that life event made you look at that. And sometimes, you know, becoming a mum can do that sort of thing, can't it? It can make you revisit ideas that you perhaps hadn't thought of before. And I think that's so powerful. Why waste a minute, like you say? Why waste a single second when you can live it to its full potential? Absolutely. And not let that fear get in the way. So with that said, would you say you have current fears that you perhaps still face, but obviously you face them as fearlessly as possible, but are there any that you're working on overcoming that you could talk about now that you're currently working on, or that you could share with us?
Definitely. When I think about my projects, I mean, I am confident. I know where I wanna go. But there are moments when I ask myself, will it be possible? Especially when I'm very tired because I used to work too much. In those moments, like, okay, I feel that I will not find the proper team, or I will not find enough resources, or I just don't want to do it because it's too much, and I don't know if this is how my life should be.
Mm.
But in those moments, if I am tired, I learned that when I'm tired, I have to sleep.
Yes.
And it's fine. So you just sleep and don't take any decision and don't allow anybody interfere when you're when I'm tired. But actually, and in other moments when I'm very rational and thinking about, okay, what is actually the concern? Yes, I do these moments, I have these moments, and I'm really grateful for them because they show me actually what is the reason behind, the real reason behind. And most of the times, these situations help me see the solution. So when I really dig into fear, I find the solution. It's like, okay, what is actually what you are afraid of? I'm afraid of that. Okay, so this is the solution. I have to do that in that period. So it's not that I want to be fearless. It's just I want to have a conversation with my moments of fear.
Of course, and I love that because you're reframing, aren't you? You're taking what you're thinking in your mind and you're turning it around and looking inside out of it. And I think that is a lot of what we do when we are facing fear to overcome it. So I think that's going to be really relevant and resonate with some people as well as a brilliant strategy to use. And like you say, you get the light.
Yeah, exactly. Get the light, and fear facilitates for me sometimes the most important moments of my own growing. So I feel that each time I can find a solution in my fear and I can overcome it, but in a way not putting it aside and saying it's not here, I'm fearless, I can do everything, I don't feel it. No, when I have these conversations and I find solutions, so I transform my fear into my friend.
There you go.
It really helps me grow because in this way I can consciously put the lesson in my being and I can take it with me, not repeat it over time, but it's just me, and I consider myself being richer after these experiences.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you're acknowledging it, aren't you? You're saying, hey, fear, I see you. I'm acknowledging you. I'm living with you. I'm sitting with you for a minute and I'm going to work through you and you're going to help me. Yeah, it's not it. You're seeing it as a positive thing and not a negative thing, which is really important as well. Amazing. So what do you think is the transformation for you that from the old way you used to be, you know, when perhaps you didn't think this way, you didn't approach fear this way, you know? What's the transformation look like if you live life more fearlessly or more, you know, seeing fear as your friend and not as the enemy?
Well, the transformation was hard like hell. So
I didn't say it
that
was easy.
no, not at all. For me, it was a process, a very interesting one. I am grateful it somehow ended because I know it's a continuous process, and actually every day we have here, we learn something new.
Yeah.
But now it's very, very I know I just can feel a lot of peace and harmony in my life. And although I also have moments of stress, I can very easily decode them. And I feel, I don't know, it's everything, it's much more clear now. It's transparent, like I know that it depends on me, and the good part is that somehow being like this, I can bring this into the people I interact with, also this attitude. I was afraid, let's say like this, for 35 years. So it was, I wouldn't really like to get there because it was very, very tough to wait for approval for every decision from your boss, from everyone around. It was like crazy. I don't know how I had the power to live like this, actually. But now what I think that the feeling is freedom, really freedom.
Because now you're able to talk to yourself. I mean, all those things that fear brought to you, it was a blessing in a way, because now you're able to listen to your body when you're tired, like you said, you know, do what you need because you're talking to yourself and you're acknowledging what you're feeling and thinking and everything. And I think this is the big key to having that freedom that you talk about. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with everyone. So finally, I want to ask you, if somebody came to you and they said, I can't do it. I just cannot do it. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it. I want to do it, but I can't. It's just my fear is stopping me. I don't have the confidence. Who am I to follow my dreams? Who am I to say I can do that? What would you say to them if they came to you and said that? How would you help them?
Take a deep breath.
Yeah, good start.
No, actually, it's just I know very well how that person would feel because I was somehow in their shoes sometimes. What helps me really in all this moment is returning to my being and returning to my body.
Mm.
And because I really believe that inside our bodies, there are all the answers we know and all the power we need to make everything we need and fulfill our dreams. So what I actually do is, yes, invite this person breathe so that he or she can reconnect with his or her body, and then try to localize somehow this fear and actually what this fear says to the people, because always our fears have messages for ourselves.
Mm.
And then starting from this, what does this your fear tells you? We start the process, especially in coaching, to identify what is actually the problem. Because as it was in my case with the lack of confidence, it can be different in any other case. Fear can be just a feeling we are so used to use as a word, I'm afraid of, but actually what we feel behind can be much more complex than this, and it sometimes hides something else than fear. Fear is just the word, but actually what do you feel and what are you really afraid of?
Yeah, what's the emotions behind it? Like you said, when you opened, you said about the you know, were you really feeling fear, or was it just a lack of confidence? I mean,
Yes.
you're so right. There's so many emotions behind it, isn't it? So much to think about and to dive in and talk to yourself about. That's brilliant. Thank you for that. I hate it when it gets to this part, when it's the end and we run out of time, because I could keep talking to you for ages, and I'm sure you've got lots more wisdom to share with us. But I appreciate you sharing all of that great stuff today and some real good things for people to take away with. So thank you very much, Maria, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and I really hope that all the people that will hear this material will be enlightened and will receive something good for their beings and for their future here.
Oh, I'm sure they will. And we'd love to hear them as well. So if you do have takeaways, or whatever your takeaway is from today's conversation, I should say, or takeaways, then please do pop them in the chat, and put #replay if you're not watching us live and you might have just jumped in and seen us. Go back and watch the replay and let us know what you think, and let us know about your stories of being fearless as well. And let's help the community to stand up against that fear. Mind you, sometimes when I get in these conversations, I don't even know what to call it, because is it fear? We went there today, didn't we? But yeah, so I just want to invite everybody to join us again next week, next Tuesday, when we'll have another special guest on G.S.T's Global Speakers Talks Be Fearless podcast. So from me and from Maria, I just want to say to everyone, keep speaking up, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Oh, I pressed the wrong one.